So it's safe to assume you know who Miku Hatsune is by now, right? Vocaloid, Project Diva, live shows, I mean, you know, she's only been ranked among the most influential fictional characters in the world, so, you know. And knowing that, and knowing that Japan is a country that loves its character goods, it shouldn't come as any surprise that Miku has been utilized in lots of marketing campaigns with varying degrees of success. Everything from commercial cameos to exclusive merchandise, pop-up stores, and even augmented reality apps. Miku's really been around the marketing block. And of course, what's the point of being such a huge celebrity if you can't show up in a couple bizarre ads that you'd rather just dismiss as a weird phase of your career that you'd rather not talk about, right? So you know what we're gonna do today? We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna spend some time today exploring some of the most bizarre advertising and marketing material that Miku has been a part of in the last 11 years. This is the advertising of Hatsune Miku. So for our first lovely ad today, I want you to go ahead and think about how much you love your waifu. Like, no, seriously, how much? To what extent would you go to ensure that the general public knows that she's an excellent character, or that she even exists in general? And you know, if at all possible, when you're measuring this, could you perhaps measure it in terms of money? Think about that for a sec. Honestly, think about it, and now tell me, would you, for example, pay the equivalent of nearly $3,000 to buy some ad space in a South Korean subway station for a few weeks to remind people that it's Miku Hatsune Day? Honest to God, would you? As a matter of fact, better yet, for her 10th anniversary, which is about a year later at this point, would you team up with other fans of your waifu on Kickstarter to raise the equivalent of, and listen closely to this, $40,000 to set up a full-blown shrine to her in the middle of one of South Korea's biggest stations for an entire month? And we're not talking about some dinky little shrine in the corner of the station that looks more like a pile of misplaced trash and bootleg merchandise. No, we are not peasants here. We're talking all-out, high-tech LCD screens full of various pieces of incredible fan art of her, and a 3D model waving at you and dancing around every single minute of every single day for an entire month. It's honest to God, probably one of the most high-tech out-of-home ads to grace planet Earth. It's the kind of shrine that even people who don't know the character it's devoted to can't help but tremble in fear and awe at the raw strength of the love you have for your waifu. Cause spoiler alert, that is exactly what happened in 2017. An extremely devoted group of Miku fans paid about 40 grand to have a shrine made for her in a South Korean transit station for an entire month. And you know, it's like I always say, if you can't buy upwards of 40 grand's worth of ad space for your waifu, is she really your waifu anymore? Come on. I think the fact that this was all orchestrated by a bunch of fans who wanted to promote Miku just for the sake of promoting Miku is so metal, honest to God. Because let me tell you something, getting ad space in a busy public transit area like this is one of the most expensive things you can buy, but only because it's some of the most effective ad space you could dream of. Let me present a thought to you. Both of these ads were put in, and I'm sorry, there's no way I'm pronouncing this right, so forgive me, Saedang Station in Seoul. A station that sees upwards of 100,000 daily visitors. There is no ad block out in the wild, my friends. If there are posters in the area you're in, you're probably gonna see them at one point or another. And if there's a high-tech anime shrine somewhere in there, yeah, I think it's safe to say it'll grab your attention at some point. In fact, everyone probably got a nice long eyeful of this since it was there for an entire month, and you know, it's so present that who wouldn't help but think about this after seeing it for the first time? Who wouldn't think about this for the rest of their lives? It's impossible to measure the success of this ad since I highly doubt they were doing consumer feedback surveys or holding focus groups about it, but honestly, even saying the phrase $40,000 Miku shrine, I can feel the strong aura of these fans' pure and beautiful love for Miku, so by God, without any hard numbers to prove it, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is by far the most powerful and effective ad in this video, probably in the world. I know that sounds sarcastic, but I am being totally honest. This is wholesome as fuck, and I love it. But that, my friends, is but the tip of the promotional iceberg. Where the heart of awkward ads featuring Miku lies is in the realm of commercials. I find it really interesting that Miku's treated more like a celebrity and less like a product in commercials. It's not crossover promotion in the traditional sense, because Miku is utilized like a celebrity giving a cameo or giving an endorsement rather than the mascot of a line of products. As a matter of fact, speaking of celebrity endorsements, how about we talk about the time Miku and her BFF Scarlett Johansson tried to sell us some hair care products. So in 2016, Miku was featured in a Japanese ad for Lux hair products. Specifically, from what I gather, this particular line was meant to give you straighter hair. Now, right off the bat, this ad strikes me as a bit odd. Why? Because it's Miku goddamn motherfucking Hatsune and Scarlett Johansson interacting. Because beauty products tend to prefer being really visual and overdramatic in their ads, and Lux is no exception to this from what I have seen. But this one is instead trying to tell a story, and that's a pretty bold choice. It's risky, it's gutsy, it's relying almost entirely on the fact that it's featuring not just one, but two celebrities and hoping that'll make up for the lack of overdramatic shots of fabric that you can find in pretty much any other Lux commercial. But I like it. So, right out the gate, we see Miku saying that she's totally content with the way she looks, except not really, because the exact millisecond she sees Scarlett Johansson selling some Lux, Miku is suddenly so inspired by Scarlett's luscious locks that she just rips out her ponytail in a way so over the top, I can only compare it to the way Kiryu picks up the phone in Yakuza 0. Next thing we know, we see her singing an ode to how she wants to live her life the way she wears her hair. But of course, we've all heard Magnet by now, so I really don't think she's fooling anyone here. But the ride doesn't stop there, friends. Oh, not even close. Now we see Miku in her dressing room, only to get a phone call from her BFF, Scarlett Johansson, who is kindly taking time between public relations disasters to relay an important and relevant message to Miku.
Hi Miku, this is Scarlett. Being true to who you are makes all your dreams possible.
Yes.
Yes, Scarlett, thank you for calling me for the express purpose of reminding me of this. I value your mindfulness just as much as your friendship. Thank you, Miss Johansson, thank you. And of course, after that, the ad goes on to give you the details on the product, just the run-of-the-mill hard sell stuff, and there's nothing more to really see here. I can't find any hard sales numbers to prove how successful or unsuccessful this campaign was in terms of generating sales. But you know what? It doesn't even matter, because this ad ended up serving another purpose, and I think you're going to be a lot more interested in hearing about that, and that purpose is a PR boost for Miss Johansson. So, about 6 months after this campaign would have started, the live-action Ghost in the Shell movie that Scarlett starred in hit theaters. Her appearing in an ad like this just before the trailers and the commercials for Ghost in the Shell would start appearing would simultaneously help introduce her to the Japanese audience who might not have known her before now, while making her look more interested in Japanese culture to her American audience who said that she was appropriating Japanese culture. Being in an ad with Miku was definitely a strategic move too. Both Japan and America love her. It's a great way to ensure that both audiences would watch the ad, even if they didn't know who Scarlett Johansson was, or even though Lux products aren't sold in America. It's pretty clever, right? And you know what? It might have worked out too if Scarlett didn't decide to dive even deeper into the bad PR pool anyway by taking a role as a trans man in a movie directed by the 2017 Ghost in the Shell director about 2 years later. Actually, just a few weeks ago as of when this video's out. Any good PR with her American audience that she just might have gleaned from this ad, just like that, was all gone as soon as the news broke. But we have spent more than enough time on that for now. Let's go ahead and sink our teeth into the third and final, and certainly most known ad in this unholy trinity of ad campaigns featuring Miku. Let's talk about...
Once your pizza's delivered, have some fun with Miku.
Okay, so... In 2013, Domino's in Japan got its greasy, sauce-covered hands on one Miss Miku Hatsune to use for a marketing campaign. The campaign itself is pretty simple. At certain locations across Japan, you could order a pizza and install an app that would allow you to watch an AR Miku concert taking place on your box. And I know, that simply does not sound like enough, right? Of course not. Which is why for those who ordered these special Miku boxes for delivery, they'd see the employee riding to their place on a special Miku-clad scooter, which, by the way, I'd like to nominate it alongside the canoe for most interesting mode of transit Domino's has asked its employees to deliver pizza in. Now, when I say it plainly like that, it sounds like good old harmless fun, right? Just a clever little campaign, nothing much to see here. Can you even call it a normal day in Japan if you don't see at least one vehicle decked out in anime girls? But it's the way this campaign was announced. It's the constantly shifting camera angles. It's the distressed look in the eye of the now former Domino's CEO, who, by the way, is the one telling you all this. But more than anything, it's his line delivery and honestly, even the lines themselves. It's the kind of thing I can't even put into words, and you just gotta see it for yourself. Exhibit A.
Pictures of Miku. Very cool.
Exhibit B.
From the menu to the order, it looks very cute, just like Miku.
Exhibit I need to see an adult!
Once your pizza's delivered, have some fun with Miku.
In any case, the campaign itself actually did pretty well, despite, or perhaps because of, the universally laughed at campaign announcement. According to one article I found, the demand for these Miku Pizza Box concerts was over 10 times what Domino's was expecting. Which of course makes me inclined to believe that Domino's just doesn't know jack shit about anime fans the way Pizza Hut does. But alas, I guess we all just can't get marketing deals with pretty much every anime ever made. But poor old Domino's, you know, they're chugging along, they're doing their best. I mean, you know, they had some brief product placement in Eureka 7 once. Did you see it? Here, I'll just slow it down a little, zoom in just a pinch. Yeah, see? Look at that. They're doing their best. So in conclusion, some Miku ads are really fucking weird. Obviously, these aren't all the ads Miku's appeared in. You've surely noticed the clips from her Toyota and Family Mart commercials I've been using. I just wanted to focus on the more memorable of her ads, the ones that have been carved into the deepest trenches of my mind that I'll be thinking about to my grave. But as always, if you think I missed out on any, or that I should have brought a certain one up, I don't care if it's a commercial or a print ad or something else entirely, I think we would all appreciate it if you would tell us all about it in the comments. They're absolute works of art. They're testament to how much people love her. They are the advertising of Hatsune Miku. As great as Miku is, we can at least all agree that Luca has always been best Vocaloid, right? Right?